I'm gonna let my hair grow out again. I've been wearing it bald for a long time now. I'm gonna let it grow out to like where it used to be when I was around 55 and I had that spike kind of hair. I'm gonna let it grow out again and see what it looks like. So when you see me, my hair is gonna probably be looking funky until it starts to take shape. But I'm gonna give it a shot if I have the patience for it. You know, it takes patience to let hair grow out, for me at least. I'm gonna make a film about critical mass. And I do this every time I get clarity on something. I like to make a little recording of it. This one probably won't be too long, but I understand more clearly now about critical mass and what has to happen before critical mass is reached and what happens after critical mass is reached. And critical mass is when the population of the planet reaches a certain number of people on the planet reaches a certain level of clarity, a certain level of awakeness. And for the longest, I always thought that would be in the United States. I thought that's where critical mass will be reached, that the Americans will start to wake up suddenly and there'll be enough people to bring on critical mass. Well, how wrong have I been? Like I said, I just got an epiphany and understanding. And I've been following the continent of Africa, and it didn't even dawn on me. As much as I've learned and much as I know about the awakening and the youth and the population of the continent, I didn't put two and two together that the awakening is not going to come from the United States, not even close. This country is so delayed and so retarded as in slow, not retarded as in duh, but as in slow. But the United States is so retarded in its awakening that most of the people I feel in this country is going to get left in the stupor of consciousness. Because at some point after critical mass is reached, there's not going to be any way to awaken completely. Now, what life is going to look like at that point, I can't say, but I do know that when critical mass is reached, there's this system called the matrix, that keeps the false matrix going, and it's called the Saturn Moon matrix. And it's the reason why we are all in this stupor right now. It's the reason why we've been jilted for eons. It's because of this connection that keeps us in a low vibration. Well, the understanding that I have is that critical mass will be reached right along the same time as some solar flare. There's going to be a solar flare, and it's not going to be such a solar flare that it's going to be any kind of disturbance in the planet. But it's going to be a large enough and powerful enough flare that it's going to disrupt that matrix, the Moon-Saturn matrix. And because the grid, the Moon-Saturn matrix, is already so fragile because of the mass awakening that's going on, when the solar flare comes in, it's going to disrupt. It's going to be just like an electrical disruption. It's going to disrupt and come right in between the stream of energy that's coming from the Moon-Saturn matrix. And when it's disrupted by that flare, the grid that we're under that keeps us in this mindset is going to collapse. And it's going to collapse because it's already collapsing. It's just that the Saturn Moon matrix is keep beaming in the energy so it doesn't collapse. So people are still in their stupor and still part of the insanity of what's going on. So when the Saturn Moon matrix collapse, critical mass will be reached. Somewhere with critical mass and solar flare, both of those together is going to cause the matrix to collapse. And once that collapse happens, that's when my connection will be severed. And I will no longer have the responsibility that I have right now. I call it feeding the planet, feeding the masses. I don't know what the spiritual term is, But my duties, my spiritual duties that I have, has got me so intricately connected to the welfare of humanity, will be severed through the collapse. And once that's severed, then, and not before, but then I can go on and move forward even faster with my life. I can go ahead and go in more in the direction that I'm already going, but without the connection which causes the hindrance and the disruptions in my life still to this very day. But that's what I wanted to share. I wanted to make a little video about that because I was sitting up here in clarity thinking, I can't really do anything with my life until this connection that I have is severed, because it's this connection that's keeping me tied in spite of it loosening. And I'm moving. I'm moving. There's no doubt about it. I am moving. But I'm not going to be able to shake myself free and move in a more sovereign kind of way until this matrix moon connection is severed by critical mass and the solar flare. And then life is going to look different. I don't know how, but I don't think it's going to be anything drastic. It's just something that we all are going to notice from within, and it's going to be something different. And I know for me, it's going to be the severing of that connection that I have with humanity that keeps me stuck, to a sense. So I'm looking forward to it, and we're getting close because Africa is awakening, and that's the planet that's going to make this whole thing collapse, and we all are going to move in a new direction somehow.